Good evening, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast, episode 9, and we are at our bye week, so kind of a quiet weekend with no Ohio State football, but a lot to get into tonight. I am Tyler Johnson. We are finally a full crew tonight. Gentlemen, Nick Lasia, Jordan Dalton, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great.
Fantastic. Undefeated. Love it.
Yeah, it's nice having one team in Ohio that's undefeated. But before we get into tonight's show, just a reminder, guys, that the Scarlet and Gray Podcast is proud to be a partner with Underdog Fantasy. And right now, you want to get your pick'ems in for Monday Night Football. Mahomes versus Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. Oh, no Tyreek Hill. But there is Travis Kelce. So you guys want to make sure that you go get in your over-under picks before 8:30 tonight. That way you have your chance at winning money courtesy of Underdog Fantasy. Use code 216 to double your first deposit up to $100. That is code 216. And gentlemen, the Ohio State Buckeyes went on the road this weekend, and it didn't really matter. I mean, Ohio State beats Michigan State 49-20. Once again, this is a game that was over by halftime. So before we get into some player stats, what are just your initial thoughts? I mean, it's your first game on the road, so sometimes there can be nerves with that, especially some of the new starters on the team. But how do you guys think overall that the offense, how the Buckeyes handled this? Whoever wants to go.
As good as you could have. I mean, you go on the road and you put up 49. I mean, that's a pretty good road trip.
They didn't cover the spread, though.
They did cover. They did cover.
They did cover the spread, I thought. Did they not?
What was the spread?
27.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, because I was nervous. I'm like, oh, man, I swear. If Michigan State scores again, I feel bad for everyone that took the number.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about the Rutgers spread.
Yeah. No, they did cover. So that's the second time they've covered this year, I think. Toledo in this game, which is kind of weird. But, no, I thought they looked really good. Travion looked really good. Defense, I mean, before they took some of their starters out, looked solid. I mean,
we were really close to just having Dallin Hayden as our only running back coming into that game because they weren't sure if Travion was going to play, and then mine was ruled out with a very minor injury. I just thought
what was the injury exactly? I didn't read into it.
TJ? It's not been confirmed by Ohio State because they don't really seem to release details on injuries until I'm sure when Ryan Day is asked about it next, he might give a little information on it. But so far, there's not a lot. I heard that someone tweeted the night before that there was a rumor that Mayan Williams was in a walking boot all this week. So I don't know if it's a stress fracture. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's something to do with his foot. So with the bye week, I assume he'll be back after the bye week, but they haven't said anything on Mayan Williams. There's not been anything out there. So if it was serious, we would have heard something by now.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. I mean, he is our best running back, so it's just we'd like him to be out there. And I think having him and Travion together is just it's a dynamic duo. And it really makes this offense that much better, which is crazy because they're extremely talented.
Yeah, I mean, this offense is the best in the country. It's really not even close. But, guys, if you are watching us tonight, you can be watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. If you want to comment, though, if you want to interact, ask us questions, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel for free. So that's the amazing thing about YouTube. No cost. It's not like with Twitch anymore, paying a subscription. All you have to do is click that subscribe button. And if you would drop a like on the video as well, we really appreciate that. And that goes a long way for the channel. That way, other people besides just people in Ohio will be able to see any Ohio State content that Network 216 puts out there. So please take a second. If you guys would subscribe to the channel, we'd really appreciate it. Guys, some of the stats from the game on Saturday. I'll start off with Travion Henderson. That's where I'll start. 19 carries, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Were you surprised he only got 19 carries in this game, given the fact he was Ohio State's, only running back? Because a lot a lot of people thought he was going to get a lot more carries in this just because, obviously, Mayan Williams was not available. But we got surprised Travion got this many carries, and overall just thoughts on his performance compared to Mayan Williams in the past. Do you think Mayan Williams still leads this backfield, or how do you think it goes moving forward?
I mean, he's coming off of kind of being injured, so I didn't really think they were going to run him a ton. I mean, especially when you have Hayden back there too. I think he's proven he can be reliable. I mean, he averaged 5 yards a clip on 14 carries last in the game. So I mean, he's just as reliable, I think. But I mean, he's obviously not as explosive as Travion or Mayan yet, but I think he'll get there. But I didn't think he was going to have a ton of carries. I'm surprised he carried it that many times. But I mean, he had a good game.
I want to say, like, even with Mayan Williams back there, they are averaging about 19 yards a carry apiece.
19 yards a carry?
Or
timeout. Wait, what?
19 carries.
Yeah, that's what I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was pretty par for the course on what we expect, like, workload-wise from the running backs. So, I wasn't too surprised that they only ran him 19 times. But he made a couple big runs and scored a touchdown, looked really good, looks healthy, which is the big thing. He wasn't like –
his vision looked really good.
Yeah.
He made a couple of really nice cuts.
That's a really big knock on Travion Henderson is his vision kind of lacks. He's not as patient of a runner. But he looked really patient this week. So I was pretty impressed. I think throughout this entire season, we're going to be talking about whether Mayan Williams is the one or Henderson's the one. And, we've been talking about it all season. It seems like it flip-flops every week. But just knowing you have those two guys back there is really confident. It's got to be a confidence booster for the offense, knowing they have a reliable running back. But it's almost the same thing that with the wide receivers. One of them goes down, and you get to play a young guy that probably wasn't going to get any playing time this year. And we got to see Dallin Hayden really come into his own the past couple weeks. Just he was the first running back to break 100 yards in a game this year, and he seems like he fits in well with that room, and he's going to be the guy next year.
Dude, him and Caffey next year are going to be fun.
Yeah, wait, time out. Dallin Hayden won't be the guy. Travion's only a sophomore.
Travion will be back. Yeah.
He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy, like 1-2 with Travion.
Yeah, he'll be the spell back.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I was going to say, Travion's still got another year, believe it or not.
I don't think a lot of people expected Hayden to get as much playing time as he's had so far, and I mean, he looks really good. He just looks like he knows the offense, and they don't have to change anything when he comes into the game, which is huge.
I think the way they're going to do the backfield moving forward, and this is going to keep teams very they're not going to be able to predict who's going to come out the first drive. I think it's truly going to be whoever is hot the week before. I mean, this week we saw Travion. Let's say that Mayan Williams is back for the Iowa game, and for instance, he's healthy. I think Travion gets the first carry. Let's say Mayan Williams has the better game. I think he'll get the start after that. I think that's the best way to do it. And then defenses, I mean, you prepare for both clearly, but you don't know which one's going to come out first.
Yeah. And this Iowa game is going to be, I believe, the first game we see Ohio State's offense at full strength since week 1. I think Jason's back. I think Mayan's back, and they're going to be fully loaded, ready to run over some Hawkeyes. So.
And they did announce that's big noon kickoff. That's 12 o'clock, so Fox will be there. So,
I mean, as bad as their offense is, their defense
is tough. Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about it next week on the show. But it'll be another test for the defense. Is it an away game or is it?
It's home.
It's at home. Because remember last time we got blitzed by Iowa when we went there.
I don't know the schedule by heart, but do we have a big road
So
Penn State's the big road game.
After Iowa, we go to Penn State.
Yeah, but do we have a multiple away games? Because we started the game.
We have
Maryland. Is it?
So we have after Iowa, we have 2 straight games on the road at Penn State, at Northwestern, and then you have Indiana at home, at Maryland, before you finish the year with Michigan.
Yeah,
at home. We just have a lot of home games this year, man. I don't know how that works.
18 home games this year, so
it's weird how the schedule worked this year. But going back to Dalen Hayden, and we'll have more on him near the end of the show. But he's a guy that I just love what he brings to the table. He doesn't seem to have that breakaway speed, that home run ability. He's just a solid running back, and that's something that you need in this offense. You don't need a guy that necessarily has 4.3 speed. You just need a guy that comes in and does his job, and that's what he's done ever since he's gotten here. And I think I'll even say this, even when Mayan Williams comes back, not saying this happens, I could see Dalen Hayden still getting some carries. Not a lot, but I think just more of a change of pace.
It'll be interesting to see how they want to handle. I mean, has he lost his red shirt yet? Technically,
that's what I was going to bring up.
I don't. They might, because especially, I know we'll talk about it later on too, but especially with how they use Xavier Johnson this past game, they might put him at RB3 just to keep Hayden's red shirt. Because, I mean, I don't know. They might play him, but I mean, I'd look to see if they just kind of shut Hayden down and roll Xavier Johnson at that RB3 spot.
Would they? I mean, the other thing they could possibly do, maybe they won't do this, is TC Caffey. If he has, I mean, how many games has he been active for? Or even gotten carries? One game, 2 games,
1 or 2 maybe. I know he got some carries in this last game.
Okay. Because the thing is, you could keep him potentially active if you're not going to keep Dalen Hayden. I mean, because I don't think they want to get into a habit. Let's say, for instance, Travion or Mayan go down in one of those games, and then your other backup running back is Xavier Johnson. It's tough. It's tough, man. I'm not against it. It's just that provides a tough scenario that way.
I say TC's only played in 2 games, so I mean he's still got 3, I think, because it's 5 games you can play in, I believe.
Okay.
I think.
That's good. Okay.
Well, on that.
No, it is. I think they changed that rule. I think when with the transfer portal and all that as well, they kind of made it apply. You have to play a certain amount of games for a red shirt. They changed that a couple of years ago.
So it is 4 games. So
it's 4 games. Okay.
If you play in 5, you forfeit your red shirt.
Oh, so Hayden's red shirt might be gone then.
Yeah.
So
they might.
So now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's smart because if, God forbid, we lose one of these running backs, at least we have a player that's played.
Mm-hmm. So that's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. So some more just overall stats in this game. We'll just go to the wide receiver. We'll just go to the passing game. Absolutely incredible. CJ Stroud,
21 numbers, dude.
That's all it is at this point. I mean, with him, it's just 21 of 26, 361. He averaged 13.9 yards per pass, per completion. That's nuts in itself. 6 touchdowns. He did throw a pick 6, but after that, he threw 5 straight touchdown passes.
And in the defense, that pick 6 was a miscommunication.
Yeah. It was absolutely.
It was clear as day that it was a miscommunication. I think it was Marvin Harrison Jr. He ran a go route and it was a Mecca. It was a Mecca. Yeah.
Buka.
He ran a go, and it was clearly not supposed to be that. But whatever. You'll live and die by it.
Dude, it's just we run out of words for CJ. I mean, we could make the argument last week he came out kind of flat. He didn't seem to be the player we saw. It sounded like he was kind of just going through the motions on Saturday. There's something about when he plays Michigan State. He's just on another level when he plays Michigan State.
And bless those Spartans, dude. That secondary's bad. I mean,
it is bad.
That secondary's bad, dude. I mean, every time CJ dropped back, I'm like, well, this is either going to be a touchdown or it's just going to be a completion for 30 yards. I mean, and then Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, that dude is just a bona fide stud. I mean.
Well, so last week when you weren't on the podcast, Nick, we had it.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's my one jab. All right. Last week we had the guest on who writes for the Spartan Av.
Hey, I still listened.
I know, but he was really concerned with those.
Oh,
He was really concerned.
Well, yeah, I mean, secondary and quarterback play. I mean, and they were both exploited heavily. I mean,
it was just, it was bad. I mean, and in this game, CJ Stroud, this was according to ESPN stats and info, he went 11 of 11 on passes 10 or more yards down the field. That totaled 297 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's also the most such completions without an incompletion by a Power 5 quarterback in the last 10 seasons.
It's insane, dude.
I mean, you can say what you want about a bad secondary. That talent, though, I mean, given some of the quarterbacks that we've seen in the last couple of years, it's just remarkable. It really is. And CJ Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the only Big Ten players ever with 3 games of 6 touchdown passes. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is the only wide receiver ever with 3 games of 3 TD grabs.
In a season.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I mean, it's incredible what they're doing. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. also had 7 catches, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Marvin Harrison Jr. at this current pace, another great stat here. So the winner of the best receiver in the country last year was Jordan Addison. Through 6 games last year, he had 34 catches, 586 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That was last year, the guy who ended up winning that award. So far this year, Marvin Harrison Jr. after 6 games, 31 catches, 356, 9 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, 35 catches, 655 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown.
Wait, how many receiving yards did Marvin Harrison have?
Marvin Harrison is at 536.
Oh, 536. Okay.
But just the pace. I mean, you have 2 wide receivers on the same team that could end up being the best receiver in the country, getting that award. And JSN hasn't played all year.
Yeah, dude. That's what's even crazier. It's like he hasn't played, dude. Like that's arguably the best receiver in the country, and he's played like probably less than 30 snaps. I mean, it's insane.
Well, and dude, during the game, Kirk Herbstreit was calling the game, and he was saying that Julian Fleming is a potential first-round pick.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, which is crazy, but like when he talked about him, I understand it because he's big, he's physical. I mean, he's a good blocker.
He will absolutely be a first-round pick.
When he's healthy, dude, he is a stud, and you're seeing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch. He had 4 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown,
which was so quiet, dude.
So
the quietest 4 catches I've ever seen in my life.
And he's doing it. He's picking up these chunk plays. So I think Marvin Harrison's averaging like 17 yards a catch.
Yeah.
Julian Fleming's almost 15 yards a catch. And Egbuka probably pretty close to that.
And Egbuka's averaging 18.7 yards a catch.
Okay.
18.7 yards
that's
a catch.
Just because, dude, he'll catch it for like a 5-yard gain, and then he'll turn it into 25. I mean, his yards after catch are crazy.
One of the thoughts I had when we were watching the game was how much it looks like CJ is playing 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
He's never pressured. He got sacked once, but he's always got this super clean pocket, and he can literally just go through his reads and just pick apart the defense. And
go ahead.
Yeah, and he was like a national champion in 7-on-7. It's like that's his bread and butter. Is like when he was coming up before he even played a game on Ohio State. He was known for these 7-on-7 tournaments where he would just go and tear up 7-on-7. And 7-on-7, it might not be looked at as a great tool, but like that, I think it is part of why we're seeing such a I don't know what word to say, but such a mass amount of wide receivers coming out of college that are NFL ready and producing like insane numbers in their rookie seasons. Yeah. And I think it's partially because these players are playing 7-on-7 in the off season, and it's kind of like a way that these players are playing football year round. so just the way Ohio State's offense is set up, how we run 5 wide, and we can just let CJ go back there and sit in the pocket, I think is a testament to his like success in 7-on-7 and how they're trying to replicate that on a 11v11 game.
Yeah, I think too what we just need to do real quick, we just have to shout out. A lot of times it just goes under the radar. It really does. You got to shout out the offensive line. I mean, arguably the best offensive line in the country. I mean, it really is. And CJ Stroud just has so much time back there to throw. I mean, real quick, some grades. Luke Weipner, the center, 82.2 grade this year. Donovan Jackson, 81.9 grade. Paris Johnson Jr., 77. DeJuan Jones, 75.9. Matthew Jones, 74. These are all linemen that are grading either good or nearly elite. So just a shout out to the offensive line that's been fantastic this year.
Oh, yeah, dude, they've been nuts. I mean, I don't think Paris Johnson's given up a sack yet this year.
He has not.
He's been awesome. But, I mean, just a couple of the throws that CJ made. There's one in particular he threw to Marvin Harrison Jr. where he literally is just standing straight up and down. His left tackle's in his face, and he just flicks it. Like, it just makes it look so – and Marvin Harrison goes over the top and makes probably a ridiculous catch. But, like, just some of the throws that CJ makes. I mean, you talk about arm angles and all these other quarterbacks that make all those crazy throws. But the way that CJ sits in the pocket and he just sees the field, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's insane to watch.
His arm talent, the fact that, I mean, like we saw it took a flick. It didn't take him winding his arm back. The dude flicks the ball. If he gets – he's not as mobile, okay, and I'm not saying this is who he'll be. He has the ability, arm-wise, of Pat Mahomes.
No, yeah, that's
who it reminds me of.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact same thing. I think his worst quality as a quarterback is he abandons empty pockets.
Yep.
Yeah. And
way too often.
He kind of gets himself where he's running to the sideline and he runs out of room and he has to make a throw on the sideline. Granted, he can make that throw. He makes great throws on the sidelines, but he doesn't need to do that. And you got to think, this is only his, 16th game? 7? Like,
yeah.
He's only been starting
many games.
Yeah, like he had his one season under his belt and then,
well, even comparing last year to this year, I feel like he's a lot more patient. I mean, especially in this Michigan State game, I thought he sat in the pocket really well. I didn't think he abandoned too much because, I mean, there's a couple times where he just kind of wants to run and make a play, but at least he's not like taking – he's not – I don't know if I've seen CJ get hit more than like 5 times in a game. I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah, that's –
I mean, he hasn't taken a lot of hits at all.
That's why I'm saying it's like they turned it into a 7-on-7 because he's like
it's effortless.
He doesn't get pressured very often, so he really can just sit back there and
that's and also, I mean, from opponents' standpoints, you're not really seeing teams bring a lot of pressure because they need to have 12 guys in the secondary, and it's like. When you can only rush 3 or 4, you're going to give CJ time. He's going to find somebody, especially with how talented the receivers are. He's going to find somebody.
Yeah. I mean, who do you double now? if you're trying to lock down a receiver, who are you going to lock down?
Nobody. What you're going to do is before the game, you're going to say a long prayer and just hope that CJ Stroud just loses all of his abilities.
So, and now you have JSN coming back. The emergence of Cade Stover as a certified weapon in the passing game, which, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Buckeye fans weren't really expecting him to be as involved as he is this year. I mean, I think he only had 1 catch on Saturday, but, I mean, his ability to push the ball down the field, I mean, it makes defenses – and most of the time he's getting a linebacker stuck on him, and he's athletic enough to get open. So now that you have had him to the shuffle, I mean, it's not fair.
And you can't cover the running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is truly like on pace. Now, again, you have to win the national title to get this comparison. we talk a lot about LSU, that LSU team with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jamar Chase, Terrence Marshall Jr. This offense, win the title, would rival that. I really believe it.
Just in pure talent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because even LSU did not have the running backs we have. I mean, yeah, they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he was fantastic. Yeah. But they did not have a guy like Mine Williams. They did not have that. They did not have a tight end that, well, actually, that's not true. My bad. Thaddeus Moss. He was pretty good for them. Yeah, he was good for him. But anyway, we talked a lot about the offense. I want to talk about the defense just a little bit. Another pretty solid performance, giving up 20 points. Total yards in this game, Ohio State obviously dominated that side of it. But the defense gave up 202 yards of total offense. Does that say more, do you think, to Michigan State's horrible offense, or does that say Ohio State's defense is really improving? What do you guys think?
I think just based off of the performances leading up to this game, and that there's been so many stats that have been thrown out there on Twitter. I can't think of a specific one, but we're holding teams to numbers that we haven't been holding teams to in years, like 4 or 5 years, in terms of points scored, yards allowed, stuff like that. So I think this defense is for real. I don't think they're world beaters. I don't think they're Georgia's defense, but they are extremely improved over the last year.
JD, I found it for you, actually. So Ohio State's defense right now is number 7th in the country in total defense. But an interesting statistic to that, we are actually the 4th ranked defense in the Big Ten. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know what other teams in the Big Ten have really played anybody. So
do you know who's ranked the most? I imagine Michigan.
Penn State maybe
is up there. Yeah. Sounds accurate. But I know Wisconsin was up there.
Yeah. You might even be able to maybe Iowa. Their defense is really good.
Yeah.
But we'll talk a lot about them next week, of course. But yeah, their defense. I mean, even last year, that was what their calling card was their defense. Iowa. So, but again, that was Wisconsin's. We'll see what happens regarding that. But overall, just some of the grades on the defensive side of the ball. So far this year, because we're kind of going to recap here a little bit, Lathan Ransom is your highest graded Buckeye, 85.1. Next up, Tommy. And I'm doing this by snap count because some of these guys haven't played a ton of snaps, so their rating is going to be a little bit higher. Of guys that have played a good amount of snaps, Tommy Eichenberg has played over 300 snaps this year. He has an 83.2 grade, including against the run. He's elite at 88.3. Michael Hall Jr. is number 3 at 81.2. Who do we? Javonte Jean-Baptiste. He has an 80.2. After that, you have Ronnie Hickman, 78.5. And again, credit where it's due, Zach Harrison, 76.4. Those are your top-graded defensive Buckeyes. Hey, I was a guy who was – I've said it many times, not a fan of Zach Harrison. I really haven't been. I don't believe he's performed since he's gotten here. Credit to him. He's performing this year when it matters. So, love to see it. What are your takeaways from this defense, some of those players that I just mentioned? Who's the biggest surprise to you?
Tommy Eichenberg. I didn't think he was going to be
this good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Steel Chambers was going to take a leap, and he has. He looks like a linebacker. He's fast. He's athletic. It's really showing in his coverage of running backs how much he's improved as a running back or as a linebacker, but also that he used to be a running back, and he can really reflect that athleticism towards like an opposing running back, and he's starting to make a lot of really good plays, open field tackles, stuff like that. So I think Steel Chambers has definitely been one of those guys that has stood out a lot. Lathan Ransom, he had a big interception this week. He's been playing really good. He's not getting a lot of tackles, but his coverage grades are off the charts.
His coverage grade's an 86.5. Yeah. He's actually against the run. He's an 82.9.
Yeah, so like he's not racking up Tommy Eichenberg tackle numbers, but he's playing strong safety and he's doing really well in coverage, which we've talked about that being a weak part or weak link on the defense, especially on the corners. But he's really filling in there and making plays. I know another guy I wanted to talk about on defense. He's actually our lowest graded player this week. It was Josh Proctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think he was playing terrible, but he's been hurt, right? He hasn't been.
He's been battling injury. So on Saturday, I caught this. Ransom actually was listed as a starter over Proctor, and Proctor was still playing with the backups.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Late in the fourth quarter. So I don't know what it is there because I know they really like Proctor. Maybe Ransom's just playing better than him, so he's starting. I don't know. I mean, it's good to have that competition, but still.
Ransom got twice the amount of snaps on defense.
Yeah.
So, Ransom was on the field 36 snaps, Proctor 18. I know they like Proctor, but they're also playing Sonny Styles a lot. He's still getting on the field.
And that speaks volumes.
Yeah. Ronnie Hickman, Tanner McAllister, both getting on the field a lot. So and Cameron Martinez is another guy that's been getting on the field as a safety. So they've been rotating them in and out, but maybe Proctor's just the odd guy out right now.
He could be. I mean, and I'll say this, that's a good problem to have at safety. I wish some of these safeties could play corner.
Yeah.
Because this cornerback room, again, to me, as we are heading to the bye week, it is still the weakness for this team. I don't know what it is. Like, that we can't recruit corners anymore. I don't know what's going on. Denzel Burke, again, he's not been that good. He hasn't. Cam Brown, that was on Saturday. He did not look good from times. I mean,
coming back from injury.
True. Okay. That is valid. He is coming back from injury. That I do agree with. But we just can't get any consistently good play from our corners. And to me, as you get into the second half of the season, you go to Penn State. You're going to have Michigan at home. That's going to be a top 5 matchup. More than likely, you got tough games coming up. And, man, if you can't rely on your corners against some of these quarterbacks, it's just not a good situation moving forward. So I'm hoping these next couple of games here after the bye, they can get some things figured out, and we'll be good to go there. I'm hoping at least.
Who needs good corner play when Eichenberg's coming on stunts every freaking play?
Well, so I think one of the big helps for the secondary is that at least the safeties are playing well.
Yeah, the safety room. That safety room is loaded.
And you can kind of disguise coverages and help and provide all these things for these corners so they're not left out on an island getting burnt every play. And I think they're doing a good job mixing up coverages, stunts. This is not the defense of last year by any means. So
no,
I think they're doing a really good job, and they're only getting better as the season's going on. So definitely been a different defense, a more exciting defense to watch. So I'm excited for the big games towards the end of the year, so we can actually see this defense against a good offense, and we can kind of gauge that way because we haven't really played a good offense yet this season. So
we haven't. No, we have not played a good offense really up to this point. So as we're kind of wrapping it up, guys, as far as just the takeaways so far from this season, with where the Buckeyes are at, undefeated to this point, you're 6-0, 3-0 in the conference, ranked number 3 in the country. Are you guys? Obviously we thought we'd be undefeated at this point, but performance-wise, by the offense and the defense, was this what you guys expected? Did this Has this beaten your expectations? Was maybe some of it below your expectations? What are just your overall thoughts?
Fire.
Correct you, TJ. We're number 2 in the country now.
Correct. ESPN didn't update. My bad. Thank you for the correction.
Well, so I wanted to go on to this earlier. I think the reason we're number 2 now is because of our offense. And it's because that our offense has been so consistently good through the first 6 games of the season that we're kind of we've leapfrogged Alabama because Alabama's not been consistently good on both sides of the ball, and our offense has just been that much better. So I think that's the reason that they decided to finally leapfrog us. But yeah.
I know this is kind of off topic, but to be honest with you, dude, this is not like a really good Bama team. Like
it's not.
They're good, but it's not like
they're not the.
They're not they're not like Bama of past or like dang, like they are really good. Without Bryce Young, dude, they struggled. I mean, they didn't look good. I mean, if it wasn't for that bonehead play at the end of the game, they very well could have lost that ball game, and they should have.
I don't think
they should have.
Good either.
I mean, Georgia, Stinson Bennett, they're really exposing that he is not very good either.
They're a very limited offense that has relied on their defense to win them games.
Yeah,
I think that we kind of got into the AP Top 25 talk, but I think that there's going to be a couple of these SEC games coming down the line, like Tennessee this weekend. I know Georgia's got a couple of tough games, and I believe Georgia and Alabama play in the regular season, or it would be SEC championship.
It would be SEC championship. Yeah, they don't play in the regular season, unfortunately.
I think one of those teams is. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think one of those teams is going to be the better team. So,
I honestly, just based off quarterback play, I think Bama is better than Georgia. I mean, Georgia's defense is nuts, but I really think Bama's offense is better than Georgia. But I don't know, dude. Missouri should have beaten Georgia. Honestly, they had a chance to win the game too, and it's like. Georgia was getting by the skin of their teeth, but everyone's still, SEC bias, but, that doesn't exist.
Georgia also had a really close game with Kent State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is crazy to me, man.
These 2 SEC schools, like, they're not like last year where Georgia's defense was just clearly head and shoulders better than everybody's offense. That defense was crazy. But
and TJ, to answer your question, what I expected out of Ohio State's offense and Ohio State's defense this year was our offense to be really good, put up a lot of points, put up a lot of yards. They've done that in the first 6 games. The defense, I had no idea what to expect. New coordinator, I knew it was going to be different, and I'm glad it's different because we're actually blitzing and doing things that we refused to do last year. We were very much a sit back on our heels and let the offense come to us last year. So I think they both exceeded my expectations so far this season. I'm still just ready to see what else this defense can do and if we can keep on improving. That's like the biggest question mark for me.
Mm-hmm.
They come off the bye week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, JD. I expected the offense to be really dominant. I will say, did I expect it to be this, like, just winning 30 points, 40 points, just crushing teams? I thought we'd win games. I wasn't expecting 30-point blowouts every single game. I wasn't. I thought we'd be really good. Don't get me wrong. And I didn't think losing JSN, I knew we had talent, but I guess I didn't expect it to click this easily because it can take time to build chemistry with wide receivers that you haven't used. And the fact it clicked this good, it's nuts to me. Mayan Williams has really surprised me. So kudos to you. I was completely wrong on Mayan Williams, and I'll give all the credit to you. I was wrong. But on defense, kind of like you, I didn't know what to expect. I thought we'd be better than last year because you really can't get much worse than what we saw last year. So that being the case, though, it's been fantastic. I mean, everything so far has gone right, knock on wood. And I think they can continue this. You're going to get some tough games on the road here before you finish out with Michigan at home. It's all there for you. There is no reason when the college football playoff rankings come out, if Ohio State's playing this way, should be number one. Keep playing this way. Honestly, should be number one right now, but it is what it is. Not that it even matters now, but it matters for the college football playoff.
Yeah.
So, but before we get into some more top talk, just a reminder, guys, that we are proud to be partners with the good people at Homage. Right now, there's a lot of good stuff going on. The Cleveland Guardians are in the ALDS. Yes, it says Indians. I'm aware, people. But that said, they are in the ALDS, and right now there is a shirt available. We have been tweeting it out from the Network 216 Twitter account. Win the whole effing thing. Go get it. Go get it before they sell out because they've been going really quick. And once we take down the Yankees, you're going to want to make sure you get that shirt, especially. So, go get it. Again, we're proud to be partners with Homage. They do great work over there, and again, most comfortable shirts you guys will ever put on, truly.
Dude, so. Get a pair of their sweatpants too. Life changing.
Dude, I need a pair, man. I don't have any Homage sweatpants.
They're the best.
We need to hook up. Right
dude,
now.
The sweatpants. I bought a pair of these like Ohio State like sweat shorts, bro. Mm-hmm. They are life changing.
Man, yeah, I definitely need a pair. Hopefully in the future. And
one more thing on Homage. Dude, their stuff doesn't shrink. I put this in the dryer. It still fits perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't shrink, dude. It's awesome.
I know. It's really nice to have clothing like that. And we're not just saying that because we're partners. Like, even if I wasn't a partner, I'd be saying this exact same thing.
I have a question. So
I might have an answer.
Do you guys remember, was Homage exclusively Ohio?
It used to be.
Yeah.
And they've kind of expanded out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got officially licensed for NFL and
NBA, all that stuff.
Yeah, I was on their website the other day and they had like Aaron Rodgers shirts and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Their main headquarters is in Columbus.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I remember going to the store with you guys in Columbus. A long time ago. And I thought it was exclusively Ohio. So that's cool.
So as we have about 15 minutes, guys, just kind of want to go around the country. We talked about Alabama. We'll talk about a team that, if they win on Saturday, could run the table and be in the Nick knows, I think, where I'm going with this. The Tennessee Volunteers.
They're good.
Are back, man.
They are good.
They have a quarterback. Hendon Hooker right now could end up winning the hot. I still think C.J. Stroud. Hooker is definitely in the conversation. Dude. Better numbers than C.J. Stroud. Still is not going to pick.
Yeah, dude. And the thing about that game weekend, it's at Tennessee. So Bama's got to go on the road. Bryce Young coming off of injury. That's a trap game for Alabama, and the whole country knows it.
Yeah,
and as much as I hate Tennessee and that stupid orange, I hope they win because I hate Bama too. But Bama is. I'm just looking at the line. They're opening up at 7.5-point favorites on the road. That's interesting.
That is kind of nuts to me, actually.
Do we know if Bryce Young is still questionable?
That might be why they have the advantage.
So, JD, they actually did something interesting. They introduced on Saturday Bryce Young as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then the other quarterback ended up playing. So I think Bryce Young could have played against Texas A&M. I really I do.
I bet Bama probably just thought they would cruise, honestly.
Yeah, they didn't. But, I mean, Tennessee can absolutely win this game. I mean, Hendon Hooker is 6'4", 218 pounds. 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, no picks. He's been fantastic this year.
He can run the ball, dude. He's athletic.
He was a really highly touted recruit, wasn't he?
I don't think he was highly talented. I don't think he was that highly rated. So remember Joe Milton, Michigan's quarterback, actually transferred to Tennessee, and he was named the starter at Tennessee. Well, he bombed, and then they put in this guy, and he took the job. He took the job from him.
Yeah.
In 2020, he didn't light it up, but then in 2021, 2,900 yards, 31 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Let's say his numbers were crazy last year.
Yeah, I'm not kidding though. I mean, it's SEC, so Tennessee wasn't great, so I didn't really hear about him. Well, now they're great. I know who this guy is, and he's truly one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And now he is on firmly in the first round pick conversation in the NFL draft. This is a huge game. I truly think if Tennessee wins this game, I guess it'll depend on the rest of it'll really depend on the rest of their schedule, because if you look at it, they are going to have to. Let's see who they finish out with. They got Kentucky at home, but then they're at Georgia.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, dude, that half of the SEC is actually it's stacked this year. I know Kentucky lost this past weekend, but Levis didn't play. Dude, when he plays, they're just as good as anybody. But unfortunately, he was out this past week. But yeah, dude, that half with Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, even Mississippi State. I mean, they've obviously shown they can play. I mean, there's a lot of good schools in that half of the SEC.
But if somehow Tennessee, again, man, easier said than done. You beat Alabama, and if you can beat Georgia, I'll even say this: even if they don't get blown out by Georgia, if you beat Alabama, Tennessee, they have one loss. Let's see, they win the SEC they'll be in. I absolutely think they'll get in.
That's the only thing, though. So let's say they do beat Bama and they lose to Georgia. Georgia will be in the SEC championship game.
And then that becomes another conversation in the future for the committee.
Exactly,
man.
Because then you'll see 3 SEC schools in the Final Four, and then
now I'm gonna leave.
Well, all right. So right now, just to move the conversation along, there are so many undefeated teams still in college football.
Dude, there are.
USC, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Penn State, UCLA, TCU. Syracuse is undefeated. James Madison made it into the top 25.
Whoa!
Dang, bro.
So
that brings up a pretty interesting question here to you guys. Who do you think is a team that right now, they're obviously not in the top 5, you think can make the college football playoff?
USC.
Yeah.
Is that the consensus?
USC's nuts, dude.
USC is.
Larry Williams is nuts.
Good.
He's so good.
I'm gonna switch it up here. I'm Oklahoma State. Hey, you can give me that. Right now in the right now they are ranked in the AP. They are ranked 8th right now. They beat Oklahoma again. Oklahoma's not Oklahoma, but if they win out and you win the Big 12 championship, they'll get in. Yeah, I think. Well, they'll get in. If you're undefeated in a conference champion,
I think this legit might be a year where we have 4 teams from 4 different conferences.
That would be awesome.
That's how it should be.
I hope so.
I would love to see it that way, truly, because I think that's how it should be.
I think it's possible. I don't see how you could put a 1-loss Alabama or Georgia in. USC's undefeated, especially USC. They are the darling of college football.
I'll say they're
USC will get in if they take care of business.
You already know, dude. They need that. They need that exposure out west. It has been non-existent forever for college. Oregon's made it, but Oregon has just put on a absolute embarrassment of everything out. And when they make it to the college football playoffs, they've just been not good. And basically, you could say that for any Pac-12 team that's been in.
I think
Washington, they did not do good.
No, I'll say this. I think you give USC 2 years 2 years under Lincoln Riley with their – well, maybe not 2. It might take – I think USC can become that powerhouse again under Lincoln Riley. I really do.
They're going to start getting recruits again.
It'll be good for the Big Ten.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing to me that's still just crazy to think about, man.
Especially if UCLA can be good at football too, it'll be good for the Big Ten. Not everyone can talk crap about how, the Big Ten only has 2 good teams. Well, if these 2 teams can come in and contribute and compete right away.
UCLA's undefeated right now, too.
Yeah. They're tough, man.
And they're playing.
You guys think Clemson is a lock?
Man,
no.
I think that QB is overrated, dude. The ACC is just bad at football too. I mean, NC State's good, but the ACC is
that's going to be the interesting thing. If you have a undefeated team from each conference, you have Clemson, ACC, Georgia, SEC, Ohio State, Big Ten. Then you have Oklahoma State, Big 12, USC. That's why they're expanding, is because they've run into this issue like every year where there's a team that should be in the playoff that doesn't make it. And so,
I mean, Clemson's schedule, they go to Florida State Saturday night. They will then take on Syracuse at home, 18th ranked Syracuse. Now, a game that could not only, take Clemson out of it, but really help Ohio State. Clemson does go to Notre Dame. They
Irish, baby.
Hey, for that game, it's a night game at Notre Dame. Then they play Louisville, Miami, South Carolina.
Hey, Notre Dame, a big dub this weekend.
There's 4 ranked SEC or ACC teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's beat one of them, I believe.
Yeah, NC State.
Well, they also beat Wake Forest.
Oh yeah, Wake Forest. They're flying under the radar a little bit. But as far as overall, guys, what are your impressions? I mean, so far, since we are at the bye week for Ohio State, we might as well talk about the biggest rival. What are your guys' thoughts so far on Michigan and their schedule so far if they've played this year?
Cupcake schedule? I mean, dude, I saw something that they're non-conference. They literally played 3 of the bottom 25 teams in the entire NCAA. Like D1 football, they played 3 out of the bottom 25. They're non-conference.
I will give them one thumb up.
Yeah.
Their run game has been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Corum's one of the best running backs in college football.
Blake Corum's legit.
And I think they found their quarterback. I'm glad they finally moved. McNamara was not it, dude. And
hey, I wish they would have used McNamara forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but for the sake of the rivalry and everything, they found their quarterback. I mean, that dude is
he's athletic too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think where they lack a little. I mean, I know they've put up a lot. They put up a ton of points, but I mean, their defense is. I mean, they lost a lot on defense to the draft and whatnot, graduating. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, their D line is definitely probably questionable. I mean, especially when you're going against the Buckeyes, that D line is going to be huge in stopping the run and pass. So, I mean, if unless they get way better, I think the Buckeyes should own the trenches. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the running game is insane. I mean, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's really. I haven't watched a ton. I've just been keeping up with stats. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out on Saturday how good Michigan is as they take Penn State, number 10 Penn State at home Saturday.
It's gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I won't have a stressful Saturday at all. I mean, they're gonna worry about the Buckeyes. Can just laugh at everyone else and watch them lose.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say Saturdays with the Buckeyes are even stressful.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. When CJ threw that pick 6, I'm like, are we doing this today? Like, are we doing this today? I'm not trying to do this right now.
I can understand that.
I want to say, I just want to drop a cool stat.
Okay.
I went on the Google machine and I found a gem.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so Marvin Harrison, senior.
Oh, senior. Okay.
6 foot, 185.
Okay.
His son, Marvin Harrison Jr. 6'4", 205.
Where did Senior go to college?
Syracuse.
Did he?
With Donovan McNabb, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. Dude, that's the last time Syracuse was even relevant in football.
Dang, dude.
So Donovan McNabb was the number 1 overall pick that year over Michael Vick.
Dude, so Junior's 4 inches taller and, like, weighs
Actually, my bad, number 2 pick.
Bro, that's crazy.
And he's way more athletically gifted.
What's crazy, though, I still can't get over that catch that he made where he literally reached backwards and, like, grabbed it between his legs and still scored. I'm like, dude, that's not fair.
And it didn't even look like he put any effort into doing that.
And, like, I'm just watching. I'm like, that's insane. Like, no normal human can do that kind of – and his foot placement around the pylon is incredible. I mean, his awareness to get his feet in bounds, I mean, it's crazy.
I say he's a top 10 pick. JSN's a top 10 pick. And
we'll have Harrison back next year, correct?
Huh? He's back.
Yeah.
Mecca Boca, Marvin Harrison Jr., they're back.
And we got how many more 5-stars coming in?
1 and then 2 4-stars.
Who do you think starts at quarterback next year?
Kyle McCord.
You think McCord starts over
over Devin Brown, I think.
Riola or whatever his name is?
2024.
20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll be coming in with Jeremiah Smith, who hasn't announced his commitment, but I mean,
hey man, we'll finally
it's pretty close.
We'll get to see that McCord Marvin Harrison Jr. duo in action. That'll be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun. They tore it up in high school. They even said when they were being recruited, they were a package deal.
Yeah. Oh, they played in high school together?
Oh yeah, dude.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
hard to believe Marvin Harrison Jr. was a 4-star. Like for real, to me, that's hard to believe. Given
especially knowing who his dad is.
Exactly.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So as we're wrapping things up, guys, kind of just want to go over the AP top 25. One of the surprises for me this week is Illinois. The Fighting Illini are ranked 24th in the country.
Hey, good for them.
Brett Bielema, man, telling you.
He beat those badges.
And they need to be relevant again. Like when who was it they had? Juice Williams,
Rashard Mendenhall, Aurelius Ben.
Yeah, man, make them relevant again.
Make Illinois relevant again.
Yeah.
Hey, James Madison coming in at 25th.
Yeah,
man, really bummed that Kansas quarterback got hurt because I think they would have won that game.
Dude, but that backup was lighting it up too.
Dude,
it was crazy,
bro. And then he missed that one throw.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. And that would have probably they could have probably scored a touchdown after that if he didn't miss that throw. But hey, we're used to that.
There's a lot of undefeated teams. Holy crap.
Yeah, man, it's truly remarkable.
Crazy.
I get James Madison might not have played anybody, but the fact D1, their first year D1, and their top 25, still incredible. I don't care if you haven't played anybody.
Well, their big victory is against App State.
Oh yeah,
that's who they beat. That
okay.
Kind of put them over the top.
Hey, good for them though. Cincinnati's still ranked. I'm glad Kansas stayed in there as they should. Kansas State, man, a quiet 5-1. Adrian Martinez leaves Nebraska and he's a star at Kansas State because of course he is.
Bloodbath, Texas, Oklahoma this weekend.
Oh, dude.
Bruh. Quinn Ewers.
Lighting it up.
Fear
he's got a mullet and a beard now.
Fear the mullet, man.
His beard looks nasty, and not in a good way.
He looks like he's joining Duck Dynasty, is what he looks like. But any other main takeaways just from the AP rankings? Are there any other takeaways for you guys?
There's a lot of football left.
Yeah, and a lot of Big Ten schools are no longer ranked that started ranked.
Notre Dame's gone.
Yeah,
deuces.
That was a big win over BYU. Neutral location, but still a good win for them.
Those BYU uniforms, man. Oh man.
The all black with the blue that faded to black on the helmet. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. Do have a quick announcement. So Friday evening, This is going to be fun. Friday evening at 7 o'clock, we have a special guest that will be joining us. Ohio State running back Dalen Hayden will be joining the Scarlet and Gray podcast for an exclusive interview live on the YouTube channel. Going to want to make sure you guys tune in for that. Absolutely pumped to have Dalen on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll post another announcement later in the week. So just wanted to make sure we were letting you guys know about that. Our first player joining the show. Absolutely pumped for it.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. But anyway, just be sure to tune in next on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Down with the Browns is there for your rants on the Cleveland Browns. You're going to want to make sure you tune in for it. It's going to be nothing but rants, nothing but yelling at one another. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. It's free with YouTube, and drop a like on the video. It helps us more than you know. This has been the Scarlet and Gray podcast. Talk to you all again soon, and go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes, go Browns, go Caps, go Guardians. Let's go.